Yeah, good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Online students, I'm audible and you could see my screen here. Online, yes. Okay. So, where are we, guys? What are we discussing in the last class? What we were discussing? Come on, at least you can revise what actually we have done yesterday in the last class. We have done the concept of iterating the elements, right? So, we have seen like how do we logically make the content being rendered on the view. Okay, we have seen like how do we use the looping control structures within your HTML fragments using map method. Okay, so we have even revised it with JavaScript map method. Could you please close the door? Okay, we have revised this map method also, like which is part of your JavaScript. So using the same map method, how you could able to render or how you could able to iterate over the arrays. That's what we have seen, and we have even seen like iterating over the JSON object, right? What if like I have array of objects, we are using the map method. What if I have a JSON object? How do we iterate it? Using your object dot keys. Indirectly, we were doing that. Okay. So that is what we have seen in the last class. Hope everybody got a chance to practice it and everyone is clear up to there. So let us go for today. So what is for today? We are about to start with, sorry, new project. Okay. So till now, what we were doing is we took the existing project and we injected React for that. Isn't it? We took this existing project. Uh, yeah. So this is the existing project what we took. We created our own index.html. We created our own index.js file. Then we slowly started injecting the React to the particular project, right? But now what I want to do is I want to go with a scratch. I mean, from the very starting, today I know that I'm going to create a React application and I would like to start with very scratch, and that too React 19. So as we said, whenever you want to go with this all, I mean, uh, creating a new project using your React, one thing what we need to do is we need to understand what bundler you're going to make use. Either you're going with the React, either you're going with the Angular. The first thing what you need to confirm is what is the bundler you're going to use for your application. So as we know, there are many number of bundlers: React scripts, RS build, bun, webpack, white. There are n number of bundlers. But when you go with your React 19 official documentation, there itself they have said like we are going to make use of white as a build tool or a build bundler. Okay, so what he's saying is White is a build tool that aims to provide faster develop experience for the web projects. We already know that what all the roles the bundler is going to do. Bundler will help us in minification. Bundler will help us in making all of them together as a single code. Bundler will help us in doing the compilation. Bundler will also help us in providing a live web server also for us, right? So any questions up to here? And guys, like I know that I have not given the Git access, right? At least today, offline students will finish it out. Okay, offline students before leaving the class, you come over here. I mean, everybody's part of Telegram or anyone still pending? Mostly, right? Okay, whoever is part of Telegram group, our official Telegram group, please come over here. You can get added. I think like yesterday you got added, right? You got the invitation, ma'am. Yeah. So remaining all, please come over here and get it added. I know that it is delaying. I mean, I was occupied with something else, but I'll make sure in by this weekend I will be giving access to all. Okay. And the best part is I see is one of the guy like he took the zip of it and he already sent it in our Telegram group. Okay, that's a good part. Amresh. is it any changes update between the React 19 and 18? Actually, there is a lot, Amresh. Like when you come to the React 18, right, the older version, whatever you have, moving from 18 to 19, a lot of changes have been come. Under from React 19, the routing mechanism has completely changed. In fact, like 17, the time it is from 17 to 18 itself, routing got changed. Whereas coming to the 19, lot more new hooks we have been introduced. Anyway, like when I'm discussing, I'll make sure I'll tell that this feature. If I go with React Legacy, we already have this web page also, right? This has also been maintained by the React guy itself to understand. Like if user have to understand how to create project using your 18, or they're already using the 18 version, if they have to know what methods, etc., they are even supporting this React 18, but they mentioned that it is legacy, it's older. They're not going to do any type of new changes here, but it will be there. Now, for example, if at all I go with this documentation, so when you go with getting started, where is the installation? You can add React creating a new app. Adding, creating a new React app. This you can redirecting to this guy only. Okay, so if you see here, earlier, in order to create a React app, we used to say something called as create. Okay, this is create next. Create router, create next. Okay, there is something called as create React app is the one what we were using earlier. But anyway, so if you want to go with the legacy one, you can go with this 18 version, 17 version, whatever the version you wanted. You can come over here, you can get the documentation if you need it. Otherwise, we can directly go with the react.dev, which is the latest. Okay, so now let us start with, as I mentioned, whenever you go with any of the library or any of the framework, first thing what you need to confirm is what is the bundler we are going to make use throughout your application built up. Okay, so as they mentioned, I'm just strictly following. Again, boss, use for React 19, can't I go with other bundlers? Can't I go with Webpack? Can't I go with RS Build or something else? It is possible. There is never restriction that only that is the one, only that is the bundler we have to go. But I'm going for the white, just making sure that strictly following what React itself is supporting. Okay. So the very first thing what actually it is saying is NPM. We already know that anytime we want to have your React, first of all, NPM or Node.js is the one which we installed. Once you install your Node.js, NPM by default comes with us. And create is the predefined method, and now a predefined command, and I'm saying like white, you say at the rate latest. Obviously make use of the white bundler, which is the latest version. I'm not going to mention anything like what version of white you wanted. You can go for the latest itself. And my hyphen app is the product name or the project name. And I'm going to say that, boss, you have to use a template which is React TypeScript or React based this thing you can go for. For example, if you want to go with only React, you can even simply go with this. Okay, so I'm going with the same command what I have. Okay, I'm going into this folder, December. Let me create a folder for us, or else. Okay, okay, I'm going with CMD. Now currently I'm into so and so folder under December 18. Now here I want to create my own project. Now what I'm going to do, I say npm space create. Okay, I'm saying what is the bundler we are going to go for. White is the bundler at the rate latest. And I say hyphen hyphen template, React template, right? Hyphen hyphen template, React. Now, when I click on this, enter. Now, when I'm clicking on this enter, it is going to create the complete project for us. Now, what actually it is saying is you didn't mention the version of the white bundler. Now I'm going to go with 8.2.0, which is the very latest version of your white bundler. So it is asking, boss, do you want me to proceed with this? Yes, because I asked for you the latest, please proceed for this. Now, when I click on this yes, now it is going to ask you, boss, white is capable of supporting these many projects. You see, using your white bundler, you can create a vanilla JavaScript project, you can create a Vue.js project, you can create a React, you can go for Angular, you can go for Solid. You see, these all are the other popular competitors for your React.js. Vue.js, Cane.js, Backbone.js, Knockout.js, Angular.js, Vanilla, Preact, Pre-React, Preact, a lot of things are there. Under this, I'm going to choose that. Boss, I would like to create a project by using something called as React. Okay, so I'm choosing something called as React. Click on enter. Now, under this, it is asking, boss, you want to create a React project using TypeScript or your JavaScript? Boss, I would like to go with something called as JavaScript with React compiler. Isn't it? So I'm choosing JavaScript. In future, we'll see how do we create a React project using your TypeScript also. Now I click on enter. Use roll down experimental. No, I don't want to go with this new one. Installation with npm and start. No, you want me to start. Did we give the project name? I missed, right? Okay, let me close this. npm create white latest. I have missed to give the project name. I say that my web application. Okay, this is the project name what I have given. npm create white at the rate latest. And what is your application name? Application name should not start with uppercase, and in between it is okay. And I'm saying like the template what you need to go is React. Now when I click on enter, by default it is going to ask me the package name is web application name. Click on enter. Invalid package name JSON dot invalid package JSON name. Why so? I can't give underscore. Why the hell? Why it is saying like invalid? What if I don't give name? It is going. Okay. No. Install with npm and start now. I say yes. Okay. Now it is installing the dependencies. Obviously, what all the node modules, whichever it is needed. Now you see here automatically a project called web application which got created. Okay. Now when I go inside this web application, you see this is all the boilerplate code we call it as. So what do you mean by boilerplate code? Whatever minimally it is needed for your project to start with, I have already given all of those. Earlier, we were creating our own index.html. We were creating our own package.json. Under the package.json, what do you mean by start? What do you mean by build? Everything we were manually doing. We were creating that SRC. Under that, we are creating this index.js. So we were manually creating everything. Now, what this bundler also does is it will be helping you to give you a minimum boilerplate code which is ready to make use. Okay, you see, this is all the project structure he has given for us. And he's saying like, boss, the project already started at localhost 5173. By default, this is the port number it is going to start with. Now you say that, no, like if at all I want to go with a different port number, it is always possible. So when you're doing this npm start, you can say hyphen port equal to so and so. It will be considering that port number. If you don't give anything, by default, white bundler will be running your React app, any application under 5173 port number. Okay. Now I go to browser. I here say something called as localhost 5173. Click on enter. So this is a minimum React project which got created for you. This is how simple we are going to start working on this. Okay. So let us say steps to create React project from scratch. Okay. So the first step is under command prompt, get inside the folder where we would like to create project. Okay. And the second step is run the below command using which we could create a React project boilerplate code. Okay, so what is the command we are going to make use? So this is the command what we are going to try. So instead of my app, it will be web application. It could be any name, guys. Whatever the name you want to go, you can go for that. Okay, so this is what I'm saying, like React, because if I say React TS, it will be automatically starting with React TypeScript. But I said like React later, it is asking me what is the template I need to choose, what is the compiler I need to choose. It will be asking, and accordingly, I'm going to choose it. Okay, now the above command creates a boilerplate code with below structure. Okay, so this is very important to understand. The first thing is web application. This is the folder which will be created. Under that, we have n number of folders, n number of files. Okay, so now we need to go through each and every file, what actually it is there for. Okay, so the very first one, what we have is we have something called as node underscore modules. Okay, what actually this node underscore modules will do? What actually the node modules will do? Folder. Come on, guys. Will hold the list of all the node modules been installed. Okay. What I'm saying is it will be holding the list of all the node modules, whatever is been installed. Okay, now if you see here, I have even run the npm install, but still all the node modules already got installed. You see at the rate React, everything, React and React DOM. We already know this, right? These are the two mandatory things which is needed for any of the React application. React folder, this guy will be holding the core React concepts. React DOM will be holding the virtual DOM concepts. Okay. So any questions up to here? Anyone? It contain all node modules. What should I write in the package name? What should I write in the package name? Actually, package name will be coming. I mean, that has come because I have given the wrong application name. I should not use this hyphen or underscore. But now if I don't give it, it is fine. Okay, Shatish, this is your first class. Okay. So, Sukanya, if you are there, could you please share the previous class links? Okay, so Satish, like we already started, like I mean, a week of time classes have been done. Again, we are just revising all the previous React and how do we go with React with the existing project and all, you please go through the video links. She will be sharing the previous class links here. Okay, so once it is there, you just revise them. This Saturday, I'll be going with, well, there are some more people who joined in between. So for all of them, I'm going to revise the content. Okay, next. Narendra, you're not in Telegram. Please ping Sukanya. It is not a link. Sukanya will be helping you to add you guys into the group. Next, could you, what is roll down? Okay, that roll down is one of the version of your, what do you say, white bundler that you can skip it for now. What I should write in the package name? I already answered. What is the, and now guys, everyone could able to see the messages, right? Now, as it is this class link, now if anyone want to speak out, the meeting ID has already changed. It's not the demo link no more. But now you guys, if you want to, I mean, you could able to see what all the others are putting the questions. At the same time, if you want to speak out, let me know. I can unmute and you can unmute yourself and you can speak out with your questions. So what is the URL you want to copy the React command? What is the URL? Okay, this is the one, right? This is the React URL what we have. We already discussed this, right? This is the dedicated web page which will be holding all the documentation of your React. Avinash, you have some issue. You see the screenshot. Need to install the following packages. Don't give that my hyphen web application, right? Make it as web application. Okay. Could you explain about boilerplate, sir? Chandra, I'll come to that. Yeah. So what actually the boilerplate code means? Now, for example, if at all I have to work with any of the project, assume like I need to create a React project. Earlier, what actually we were doing? We were creating something called as some project name. Under that, we were creating manually created a folder called as public folder. Under that, manually we created index.html. Under that, manually we added some welcome, so and so, etc. content and all. Later, we created that SRC folder. Under that, we created that index.js file. Under that, what all code need to be done? If you see earlier, we have written this piece of code, right? When you go into index.js, is pre-built or we have written this? We have written this manually. We have written this app equal to document dot so and so. The create root is the predefined method. Render is the method. We took some good explanation and we have written this. But now, if you open your boilerplate code, this is a web application. Have we created it or it been automatically created? Automatically created. Now, if I go to this SRC folder, there is something called as main.js. Let us see what actually this guy is having. Now, if I open this guy, so this is the strict mode. There is something called as app.js file. Actually, not this app.js. Web application. This index.html. You see, this is the index.html, what is being added. Under that module. So these all piece of code. Where is that code? Main. Okay. If you see here, create root method and render method. Have we added or it has already created? It has already created. So obviously, any React application, we need to use this create root method so that what piece of HTML part we are going to inject the React and dot render method to render the components. Now, what I'm saying is this piece of code is the boilerplate of code, and not just only boilerplate, it's only just this piece of JavaScript code. He has come up with all this minimally needed for creating a web application. Package.json file, node modules file, like a config.js, white config, ESLint config. These all piece of code already been created for you. So this is what we call it as a boilerplate code. I mean, you can just start writing your project. Now, okay, all my static files will be going into this public folder. All my SRC folder, all the components, whatever you have. Now you start putting inside this guy. So you don't need to do this. That will be automatically created. Chandra, hope you're clear with your question regarding the boilerplate code. I will go with explanation of what each and every file is or each and every folder is. One folder, node modules, your guys are already clear. I'll go with each and every file. Okay. Anvesh. Create hyphen white web application template hyphen React. Okay. Okay. Click on enter. After clicking on web application, what is coming for you? After clicking on enter, what is coming for you? Nageshwar, what is the role of README file? I'll go to each and every file, Nageshwar. I'll explain each and every file. Okay. Next. Uh, uh, okay, so Madhuri, after creating the React project, I have installed the Node module, then it's automatically included in the bundler or in a to execute. No, Madhuri, automatically it will be installed. Did I do anything called as npm install? No, right? It automatically installs the node modules. But from now, if you add any of the new node module, then you need to go with npm install. Please share those running nodes. Obviously, I will do. What is strict mode? I will come to that, Madhuri. I have not gone with any explanation yet. Once I come there, I'll explain each and everything. Here, main.js is the entry point of the application. I will go for that, Pallavi. I mean, first of all, I haven't gone with anything. I'll go with one by one folder and I go with one by one file and I'll explain what actually those are. Just please wait for some time. After application name, hyphen is missing. Okay. I think like, yeah, he is already added it. But after clicking on enter, what is happening? Let me know. Okay, so is everyone good up to here? It got created. Now let us go with what actually individual files are going to do for us or what individual folders are going to do for us. Okay, so the very first one what we go for is node underscore module, which we are very much clear. Either you go with the node application, you go with the React application, you go with any of the application. Node underscore module is the predefined folder name, which will be always holding the set of node modules which are being installed for the current application. Agree everyone? Node modules is the predefined folder name which will be always holding the list of predefined node modules. All the npm install, whatever you do, it only goes into the node underscore modules folder. Okay. Now coming to the public folder. So what actually the public folder will do? So public folder is okay, public folder is holds the static resources. Okay, like HTML, CSS, images, etc. Okay, so whatever the public files you would like to access from your server, what all the static resources you have, it is generally recommended to keep inside your public folder. In the same way, we have SRC. SRC. So what is SRC here? Holds the source code of React application, like components, common JS files, etc. JS or TS. Okay. So in general, whatever the component code we create, whatever the JS files we create, the common files we create, we always keep it under your SRC folder. Okay. The next thing, what's the next one? Git ignore. Everybody knows what I mean by git ignore. Okay. What generally happens is whenever you see here, for example, here I have come December 18th. Now I want to submit this code into the Git. So how you're going to do? right click on this. Obviously, whatever the changes I have done, I need to submit in the Git, right? So that you guys can access it. Now, when I'm submitting into the Git, do I need to add this public folder? Do I need to share you guys the public folder of this project? Yes. Do I need to share the SRC folder? Yes, boss. Obviously, that is what it is holding all the source code and all. This index.html, ESLint config, package.json, etc. I need to share it. But when I'm coming to this node underscore module, do I need to submit inside your Git? Without even submitting into the Git, once I give the project to you guys, if you wanted the node modules, simply run npm install, boss. So what do you mean by this git ignore is please add the entry of the files which should not be included into your git when you want to commit. You see, when I'm going to try to commit this guy, I come to React so and so. When I go with this git commit, you see, it is saying that what all the files I'm going to store. I'm going to save this app.js file, sample.html, web application git ignore, readme, ESLint, index.html, so and so are being added. Why the node module files are not added? Under node module also we have this. You see, under node module, under this node modules, you have these files. You see, when I go with this, when I go with this Babel, when I go with this code frame, you see, this is all the JS files, library JS files. These all are there. Why it is not taking into the Git? Why do I need to? Because if you guys wanted, you can say npm install, it will be ready for you. So it is like unnecessarily increasing the, size of your file. To avoid this, what we are going to do is under your git ignore, you are going to mention that what all the files which need to be ignored. Node modules should be ignored. Dist folder should be ignored. I will tell you what I mean by dist. If you remember, there is something called as bundler. Okay, so bundler is going to do the minification of the piece of code, right? Or else let me show you. So if you see, this is the source code. Under your source code, you have n number of JS files. You see web application under SRC, you have this app.js, app.css, index CSS, main.c JavaScript, n number of JS files are there, or n number of components are there. But when I'm actually going into the production, I need to go with only minified version. I need to go with smaller version, right? So who is going to do that? You know what I will do? I will say npm run build. Npm build. Okay, I'm not, you see here, I'm into this December 18th folder. You're not into the project. I need to say cd web application. Under the project, I need to say npm run build. Now, when I do this, you see here, compiler is, your bundler is going to do a lot of things. And you should able to see a new folder called as dist folder. Once you are ready with the development, all these files are unnecessary for you. The files what you take into the production, the final version is this dist folder. You see, this is all one simple index.html. Under that, the JS files and CSS files. Done. I don't have too many JS files. I don't have too many CSS files, etc. And when I open this .js file, you see everything is minified. Are we clear? So now, do I need to share the dist file also for you? Do I need to share the dist files for you guys? No, you can also run npm run build, isn't it? So that is the reason git ignore is also adding an entry for the dist folder. Okay, so like this, what all the things which should not be stored inside the git, that is what git ignore file is going to have the entries. If I remove this node modules here, okay, I removed the entry of the node modules here. Now, if you go here, you see it will even start loading the node modules files. Now, when I close this, I come back here. Git commit. Okay. Why it is not showing? Not getting updated. But generally, like when I remove that entry, right, it's not getting refreshed here. It is taking the older file only. But when I remove that entry, automatically it will start taking the node modules folder also. But I don't want, boss. I don't want to make unnecessarily my Git project to be so heavy. Even in your real time also, you never ever submit the node modules files into the Git. Node modules folder never ever been submitted to the Git. Clear, everyone? Okay. So this is about the git ignore. So what do you mean by dot git ignore? So file holds the entry for all folders or files, etc., which should not be committed to git. Anywhere, any question you have, please pause me and get it clarified, guys. Don't take it as acceptance if you don't even understand. Can we run application without public folder? Okay. For that, first of all, you need to understand what is public folder, right? We haven't yet gone for that, Ganesh. Let me explain those all. Then we'll see like what file is optional or what file is not optional. Now, when I'm saying that holding the static resources, now, okay, you can say that, excuse me, you can say that, boss, I don't want to keep my index.html instead of public. I want to keep it in some folder. That's right question. But this public is the recommended folder structure to hold the static resources. Now you say that instead of public, I want to go for something else. It's always possible. But in general, right, when you go with any of the existing project you see, that is how the structure will be. Public folder holding the static resources, SRC folder holding all the actual source code of it. Node modules, that is no option. You have to for sure go with the same name only. You cannot change that name. But whereas coming to the SRC, public, these all, you can always change it. Okay, sir, please unmute me. Sure. I will unmute everyone. You can go for your question if you have. Okay, Swati, can I rename SRC folder? Yes, ma'am. That is what I said, right? Under this folder, where is this? Under this folder, dist folder also can be renamed. Okay, node modules is the only folder name which cannot be changed. Package.json is the only file name which cannot be changed. And white config and ESLint config. These configs also cannot be changed. Other than that, everything, if you want to change it, you can always change it. Okay.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Sir, you as mentioned, like we don't commit node modules and manify to the Git. Okay,
Mhm,
so at the
mhm.
time of deployment on the server, so this node modules or minified files we needed there. So how it will be there?
No, no, that is what I'm saying. What he's saying is, boss, you guys are not going to commit all this. You are going to commit, okay, node modules are not committed, but at the time of deployment, how these things will be coming. Once you have this dist folder, do you need anything else? I can take this dist file. You see, I'm not going to do anything. I am taking this project. Okay, I will simply go outside and I go with simple web application. Uh, Server I will create one of the web server. I say CMD. Express is there, right? Express web server. Okay, CD web server. This you guys will understand only if you have idea of your Node.js. Okay, I have an idea of Node.js. I'm just creating a simple Node server. I say npm install. I'm just creating some simple server. Nothing to do with React. It's just a web server which is capable of doing anything, capable of holding or hosting anything. And I say npm start. Now, when I say npm start, I go here. I say localhost 3000. This is the server which is running. Web server it is, nothing to do with your React. It's an actual web server. Now, I took the code from your React output and I go into this folder and I simply pasted this guy. I just took the files. If you see, I'm not taking all the piece of code what React has given. I mean, React folder is having that src, package.json, etc., etc. I'm not carrying all of those. Output file, after building my application, whatever got generated, that is what I took. Now I come back to this. I'm loading this. Could I able to load my application? Then what is the use of node modules? What is the use of the package.json, etc.? Those all are for the project creation. At least at the time of development. Finally, what is being deployed to the server? This is. Now, what is the new use of this node modules? Whatever it is needed, already compiled version is already part of this. Did that answer your question, Madhuri?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so final thing what we wanted is this dist folder. Okay, go here, React batch. So these all things will be at the time of development. But if you want to take the files, your artifact, people call it as. Anyone having an idea? In your real time, right? We call that build file as an artifact. So that artifact is this dist. Once this is done, this all thing you can shift to delete it. But why the reason we keep the source code? Because if we want to do something change, okay, if we say that project is done, this is the one which is always needed to me. No, I'm not going to change anything in future. You delete the source code. It will be always working. But we keep the source code so that like in future, I do some changes. Instead of this count, I want to do something else. Okay. If at all I have to do something, then I keep the source code. I do the changes. Every time I'm going to the prod, I say npm run build. Build the dist file, the compiled version. Now you take to the server. Okay. Any more questions?
Uh,
Sorry.
Sir, I have a question.
Go ahead, ma'am.
That list file will be changed, sir. I mean,
Sorry,
whenever
ma'am.
we are running npm run command,
Sorry, Sri. Could you repeat your question once again?
every time whenever we want to build that in for the application, this dist file will be changed.
Yes, it will be automatically replaced. Now, whenever you say in future, okay, for example, this is like edit src app.j something is there, right? You know where it is coming from. It is actually coming from the file called as app.j6. Okay, okay, this is the one. Okay, so here count is I'll say count value is so and so. Okay, I have modified it.
Okay.
Count value is so and so I have done. Now you see this guy is your local 5173. But whenever you want to update this guy, why that guy is not running? Did I say npm close? Yeah, I stopped it, right? I say npm run dev. Now, when I say npm run dev, it is going to get started 5173. Now you see the count is going to update. Whatever the new change I have done, I have added this. You see count value is so and so is coming. But now, then, okay, now do I need to do the rebuild here? Yes. And when you say rebuild here, npm run build, it will automatically clear this dist folder. You keep this dist folder. If it is not there, it will create. Otherwise, it will wipe out. It will be setting the new files automatically. You don't need to do anything manually. Just you see npm run build. For example, if the dist file is there, it is replacing. What if like the dist file is deleted? You see, when I say npm run build, automatically I will create a folder called as dist folder. I will create it. I'll make sure all the build files are deployed into this. If the folder is already there, I will replace it with this. Am I clear, Sri, with your question?
Yes, sir.
Swati, you have a question.
Sir, previously I never used the command which you have written in the steps. I used only the npx create React app. So, like, this is also going to create a React application and it is going to run without a bundle. Like, what is the difference exactly?
Okay, so yes, that is earlier way of creating your React. As I mentioned, right? Up to 18 npx create React app. So if you go here, this is the command what we used to go for before while creating the projects. You see, earlier up to 18, npx create hyphen React app is a predefined node module, and what is your app name. But as I mentioned, from 19, now when I say npx create React app, okay, let me create one app using this guy also. Man, okay. Now, what is her question is, was earlier people used to go with npx create React app. Now you are asking us to go with the white and all. What is the difference? Let us see this. I'm coming back to December 18th. Now I go with npx create app, my app hyphen name. Now when I click on enter, it is still creating. Now you see what is the bundler it is going for? React scripts. Okay. Why it's taking time?
Sir, meantime, can I ask one question?
Go ahead, ma'am.
Okay. Suppose I have installed new module. Okay, and at the time of Git, I didn't commit that node module. Correct. Another developer comes and take that code, latest code. So
Mhm.
that new module is not available. So he will get the error in that case.
Okay, that is the reason. Whenever you go with the, that is good that you have an idea and she's asking the question and I'm answering, guys. If you don't have an idea, that's fine. I'll give the explanation later. But just to answer her question, what she's saying is, boss, there is a new module which we are going to install here, and that new module will be installed into the node underscore modules. As we are not taking the node modules into the Git, the other guy, say for example, he took my latest code, he won't be getting this piece of code, right? Then how it is going to work? That is the reason whenever you do the npm install, there will be entry into the package.json file. Okay. Say for example, if I open this package.json file, you see what all the dependencies you have. React is a dependency. React DOM is the dependency. But what if like I want to go with Bootstrap also? You know what I'll do? This guy is busy in creating. Okay. Um, okay. I'll say cd dot cd so and so cd December 18th. Now I say cd web application. I say npm install bootstrap. Assume like I want to depend upon the bootstrap. Now when I click on npm install, okay, bootstrap will be downloaded and will be installed. Come on. Okay, bootstrap is got installed. Now you see when I go to the node modules, bootstrap will be installed. You see, Bootstrap got installed. Now, what is her question? Bootstrap is installed super fine. But anyway, you're not going to submit this node modules, right? Then how come the other guy will know? Boss, whenever you do the npm install part, when you go back to your package.json file, is the entry of the Bootstrap is already added or not? Now, when he say npm install automatically, it will be installed or not? If you don't add an entry here, then he is going to get an error. But as this entry automatically happening, he will be fine with that. Hope I answered your question, Madhuri.
So that automatically install in that npm module when that guy check out that code.
No.
Hmm?
Automatically entry being added into the package.json file. If you have your package.json file, when you go with npm install, automatically things will be installed, right?
Okay. Understood.
Okay.
Can I ask
Sir,
one question?
whenever we check out from the gate, every time we have to use npm install.
Exactly. Whenever you check out the latest code from the Git, we need to make sure you need to do the npm install. Because when you go to the real time, right? Say, for example, we three are working on one of the project. We three submitted a code into the Git. Now today, I have added one new module. I will submit in the Git. Module also added, corresponding source code I have added. Source code will be going into the Git. Now he take the latest. If it is not running, what you have to do? Every time you have to say npm install, so that it will go to the package.json. I will see what are the new modules are there. I will install. Now I start your application. Every time you check out the code, that's a right way to run the npm install command before you make use. Clear, ma'am?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Someone else is asking a question.
I mean, every time the source code and dist file, the single page application both will go, right?
SRC will dist file or SRC? I didn't get your question. Could you repeat it?
No. Actually, dist file is the one like single page application, right?
I mean, complete React application is a single page application. Obviously, when you're building the application like this, components, etc., and all, those are single page application. Obviously, if you build it, the output is also single page web application, not only the
So,
dist file. All these SRC files, whatever we are going to create, right? These all are going to be single page application. I mean, React strictly follows a single page or SPA feature.
okay. So when you are checking, we are checking into the source code as well as the static single page, right? Where if you want to like deploy in WebSphere and all, we can directly keep
When you
in web
want to
server.
deploy, simply take this dist folder output. Either it is
folder.
WebSphere. Now you have seen this. I have deployed into one of the node server. Just taking the output of the dist folder. Don't include the dist folder. Copy the code inside the dist folder.
Okay.
Any more questions?
Sir, can you please open the package.json once?
Package.json. Okay. I know what is your question. Difference between dev dependencies and the dependencies. Am I right?
Yeah. And peer dependencies.
Sorry, ma'am.
Peer dependencies.
But I mean, right now I don't have that, right? I have only dev dependencies and this. Let me explain this, then I'll come back to your dev dependencies. Anyway, I thought to explain this when I want to explain about the package.json file. But anyway, as she's asking, so she's asking that, boss, here you have some scripts, etc. We'll talk about this. There is something called as dependencies and dev dependencies. Okay. Now, what is the difference between these two? When I say dependencies, Bootstrap, we are going to use Bootstrap features in your application. React, we are going to use React features in your application. We are using React-DOM in your application. But when I go with white, what is white? Bundler. Are we using white inside? Now, can I say that here after output, after copying this guy, this is the output which got generated? Is anything white is doing here? No, white has already done his job. White is the responsibility for doing etc. I mean the bundling etc. No, he just give the source code. So these all are the dependencies while developing we are depending on, but they are not actually going to impact anything on your source code. Am I clear? So now say for example lint. What do you mean by lint? Lint is the module which will be helping you to check whether you are strictly following the JS standard rules or not. Now, once the build is done, what is the use of me? While you're developing, I already help you to build the code, minification process. These all are the extra help we took in order to build the code. Once it is been done, what is the use of me? So that is what we call it as a dev dependencies. At the time of minification, these code will be added into the minified file, but this piece of code will not be added to the minified file. Did that answer your question, Pallavi?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Sir, like
I have one
sir, like
question.
if you don't add dev dependencies, the code is not going to be compiled.
If you don't
in
have
case-
this dev
if I delete-
dependencies,
If I delete.
now Yeah, no, okay. For example, now I don't have the dependencies, it will work. Why the reason? I have already installed the node modules. But when I'm giving this piece of code to you guys, for example, he took his code, my code, and I have not added the dev dependencies in my package.json. Now he say npm white and all. It doesn't know, right, what actually you mean by white. I have not installed because you have not mentioned inside your dev dependencies. Am I
But I
clear?
will not be saying that white. I'll be directly running the application.
Exactly.
Then it will work.
It will work, right? If you directly running the application, I mean the dist folder, it will work. Got it, Swati?
So
No,
this
sir,
dev
suppose,
dependencies.
This question, please. Ma'am, are you
no,
clear with your question or not?
no, sir, suppose we are going to delete these dev dependencies and you're going to give me this project. So if I do npm start, you're saying that it is
It's not
going
going
to
to
run.
work. It's not going to work.
So how to get them dev dependencies back?
You have to make sure not to delete this. Keep this.
In case if it is deleted, there is no other alternative, you see.
No other alternative in the sense you need to manually go with one by one. When you say npm white, it will say that white is not installed. Then you say npm install white.
Okay.
Later it will say that light ESLint is not there. Then you install those all manually you need to do. Clear, ma'am? Yeah, someone else.
I just have one question with the minification process. What actually it means, what it actually does, how the dist files, which are ready to deploy in production, which you said,
Yeah.
minification, which affects any performance of the application, or how does actually it is the minification process works? That just want to understand.
Okay, sure, Parmeshwar. Now, what he is saying is, what is the actual job of your minification? Very simple, guys. The very first thing what he do is remove extra spaces. Second one, write everything in a single line. Third one, replace larger variable names with smaller. Fourth one, make or optimize the logic or number of lines of code. Okay, these all are the main jobs what your minification is going to do. For example, I say a function. Another thing. Another thing is remove documentation comments. Okay, documentation comments, etc. and all. So I'll say something called as method to find sum of two numbers. Okay, I say the first thing is so and so, and this is so and so. I say function add values. I say first value comma second value. I say var result is equal to 0. I say result is equal to first plus second, and this is what I am doing. And I say this first value, this is second value. Okay, any questions up to this? This is how I have written a very simple piece of JavaScript code. Man. Okay, very simple sum of first value and second value. A simple piece of JavaScript method which is responsible for calculating the sum of two numbers. You ask me a question. Now, assume like he asked me, boss, can you give me this method definition? After I give this method definition, does he has any questions to come back to me? Or it is so clearly been written? So clearly been written, self-descriptive, function name is self-descriptive, and the parameters what I'm passing is self-descriptive. You see, add values, first value. I mean, at the same time, documentation. I have added the enough documentation. I have added the enough line breaks, etc. things and all. Now, the reason why I made it so elaborative, self-descriptive piece of code is while doing the development, developer need to understand that what actually the piece of code is without asking any questions to the others. But now, when I give the same piece of code, assume it is taking something called as 5 KB of size. Assume, okay, it might not be too much, but say 5 kilobyte KB, it is the one which it is taking size. Okay, now I take the same function, I remove this documentation. Okay, instead of this add values, if I say a comma b, and I'm doing return a plus b, any piece of logic changing between these two methods? Is any logic I'm changing? Same method, if I pass 10 comma 20, I'm going to get the result as 30. The previous method, same, I say 10 comma 30, I'm going to get the result. And this guy is going to have something called as 2 KB of size. Now, my question is, at the time of development, if I do this, we don't understand. You as a developer, you don't understand that. What do you mean by this return a plus b? I mean, what is this a, etc.? You don't have more description here. But whereas this guy, it is more descriptive. So for the browser, either I give this guy or give this guy. Browser will run it as in the same way. For the browser, I don't understand. I don't need to understand what is that first value, what is the second value, is it A, B, C? Doesn't matter for me. I need a valid JavaScript code. That's it. Isn't it? So this is what the minification process will do. The advantage what we are going to do is we are going to get is we are going to have the lesser size of the code. Now for the browser, I give 100 KB. For the browser, I give 20 KB. What is faster? I'll go with the 20 KB, which is going to be faster. The lesser the content you give, the higher the performance I'm going to return back to you. So why your extra spaces, why your larger variable names? For me, it is not needed. So the minification process will take the actual descriptive code and it is going to remove the extra spaces, remove the extra lines of code, replace the larger variable names with the smaller names, optimize the logic. You see, this logic has been optimized here. At the same time, remove the documentation or comments of the code so that in return, you're going to get the minification code. Now, when I'm going with this, when you go into this dist folder, what is the output? When I come back here, when you go with this index, index dot so and so, you see what is the output here? You see this const ml document so and so, these variables h1, o, j, w. Do you think you could able to do the development on this guy? No. But the size of this guy is lesser when compared to your bigger size files. So that is the reason minification is needed. Did I answer your question, Parmeshwar?
Yeah, just extending to that, is still our source files like JSX, TXX, and CSS are still server deployable?
No,
If not, the
no,
dist files.
never.
No, right?
Those are not at all deployable.
Hmm.
Now, what is his question is, boss, when you're going to create this TSX file, I already mentioned the same. If you go with this main.jsx, what do you mean by .jsx, boss? I already said your browser only understand three simple extensions. What is that? .html, .css, .js. I don't understand. Now the React has come up with .jsx, .tsx, etc. and all. So React compiler or the bundler is helping us. Then in that case, how come this is running without even going with the bundler? On-fly bundling is happening here. On-fly compilation is happening. For the browser, it is not TSX, JSX, and so and so. If you give anything else, I'll say, I don't know anything, boss. I'll throw error for you. If you remember, that is what we got. Remember, when I was using the template inside your JS file, it was throwing an error directly. Then I took the help of the bundler to give that to the browser. So the bundler on fly, it will convert into browser understandable things. So these are not directly deployable. If you take this, no, I don't go with the bundling. I want to directly take this SRC folder, public folder, whatever I have created, I want to throw into the server. It is not going to work for you. Did I answer your question, Parmeshwar?
Yes, yes, sir. I'm good.
Good, nice. That's a great question. Anyone else? Very good to see, guys. People are communicating, interacting. These type of questions. Again, don't feel that, boss, we are breaking the chain, or I mean, breaking the flow, etc. But answering this question, like I have not gone for this deployment DST and all until and unless they put the questions. So this will be really helpful. Okay, very nice. Keep doing it. Okay, in the same way, if you get time, JST, write all commands in running notes so that we can practice. Sure, Nagendra, I'll do that. So writing some code, I'm not getting time for giving Git access. How do I get time for writing notes? But yeah, I will try. Nageshwar, so writing some code for project, then we close, then how we restart your local server? We will come to that. I mean, right now I am in a process of explaining this folder structure. Maybe after this, I will explain if it is okay. Nageshwar, I'll make sure I'll do that. But again, my current process, what we're doing is I'm explaining this complete folder structure, right? Once done, then I will explain about it. Jano, if we extract project and run npm install while installing, is that check the package.json file, install the booster? We have to do those installing process explicitly. That's a good question, ma'am. When you say npm install, okay, earlier I said like boss bootstrap. Pallavi was asking a question. I have installed the bootstrap and I have removed the entry. Now, how does it know that whether it is been installed or not? The answer is whenever you say npm space install, you need to for sure have this package.json. For example, if I don't have, I say package one, I made it. Now you go to your project. Whenever you run any of the npm commands, any of your npm commands, right? cd, any of your npm install, I'll do this. It will simply throw me an error. There is no package.json file. If I do npm unbuild, if I say npm start, any npm commands, whatever you run, the first thing what it will look for is where is my package.json file. If you don't have that package.json file, gone. It will simply say that no, I couldn't able to. Why you're so slow, man? Okay, you see here it is saying that boss, I couldn't able to open the package.json. Okay, hope I'm clear, ma'am. Janu. Swati, is what, sir, what, and when you're putting the questions, please put it to everyone, ma'am, so that everyone will look into that question. What does npm run dev do? We will come to that. I will come back to that. Sir, please check. Is it right? Obviously, we have not created manual, right? Automatically created. It is right. Are we building project and learning? Obviously, we do, right, Suraj? Dist folder contain all React code in form of HTML, CSS. Not only React code, it even the code what we have written. Okay, whatever the code we write, whatever the components we develop, those all piece of code also will be part of the dist folder, including the React supportive code. Clear, Amnish? Anvesh, you only talk through screenshots. Oh my, your invalid package is still there. Why so? npm create React white latest web application. Remove that web application uppercase. Directly give it and try it, please.
Sir, after web application, double dash will be there.
He
That is
did that
missing.
actually. No, he did that. If you see in the earlier, I mean, if you see on the top right project, there he has given that hyphen hyphen. He has already given that. Okay, can you try with that removing uppercase? Okay, any more questions before I go forward? And one more thing, actually, we came in between that one of the ma'am asked about like earlier we used to go with npm hyphen create React app, but now we were going for this. Now, if you see, when I said npm create React app, my app name is the project which got created. You see, this is the one which got created. Then when you go into this package.json file, you see what is the bundler they are using. They are using something called as React hyphen scripts. So the simple difference between earlier piece of code and now the latest React so-and-so what we have used is bundler got changed. Now React itself, now if you see, I'm not suggesting that go for white, right? I have gone to React dev. They suggested that boss go with the white bundler for the React 19, which is more suitable. Okay, I hope I answered your question, Swati. You are the one who asked about this, right?
Yeah,
Earlier we were
sir.
going with npm create. Now we are going in this way.
Sir, it is same as like the exist one we are manually writing all the steps, and this is
It is same.
boilerplate.
Again, npm run
Both
build,
are
etc.
same.
Dist folder. There's all minification. Every bundler is going to support that. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Can I go forward?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Okay. Others, can I go forward? Nageshwar. After
Sir,
that, what I do, sir?
one query is there.
Start your server, boss. It's already started. Just copy that HTTP localhost 5173. Check in your browser. It should work. Yeah, someone asking question. Go ahead, please.
Sir, if you can draw the conclusion about the dist and so that it will be clear in the mind, like after getting the dist, that will only go to the GitHub, right? And that is only going to for production, right?
Dist file will not go into the Git. If you remember, even in our Git ignore also, we have added that Git. If you go into the Git ignore, you see dist is also entry inside your, dist is an entry inside your Git ignore. The files will be going, output of the dist files will be going into the production.
Okay, sir, got it.
Okay. After you create a dist file, remaining everything, we don't need to go for that. Again,
Okay, sir.
I'm deleting this guy. This guy, whatever I created using npm create x npx, I'm deleting this. We are only going with the white. Okay. Now under this folders, what all things are we are clear? Git ignore we are clear, and dist folder also we are clear now, right? Folder holds list of all list of final compiled version of code, right? Whatever the final compiled version of code we have, that will be part of the dist folder. Okay, what else? What is the next folders we have? Uh, public is done. SRC is done. What else we have? Git ignore is main node models. Okay, let us go into package.json. You see another thing. Do I need to replace this guy with package? Okay. Now I say package.json. Just give me a second. Okay, package.json. What actually this file holds? It is the main file gets invoked every time we run any npm commands, right? What are the npm commands? Either you say npm start or npm run dev. npm run dev, npm run build, or npm install, etc. Any of this npm run commands we are going to do, the first one which gets executed is package.json file. So this is the heart of your application, guys. And what all the things it will be holding? Holds list of all the dev and code dependencies. dependency modules. So what all the modules which are needed for the development at the time of code, all those will be added as an entry into the package.json file. It also holds the application name, okay, the application version, the author, name, contact details, etc. Okay, all these also will be part of your package.json file. If you're not talking, please go into mute, guys. Okay, let us see your package.json file. Okay, you see what actually it is information it is having. What is the name of your project? Whether it is a private project or a public project? What is the version? What are the modules, etc. things and all. And under the scripts, you see, she was asking, right? Why you're writing npm run dev? Why you're saying npm run build and all? Whenever I say npm run dev, this is the one which will be coming into the picture. You see, when I say npm run dev, I'm saying that white is the one which has to come. Now, when I say white, automatically white config is the one which will be coming into the picture. Under this white config, React has to come into the picture. That is how it is being configured and your application is going to come into the picture. Okay. In the same way, you see something called as npm lint. For example, if at all you want to check, you want to all the lint things and all, if you want to preview your application, these are all the commands what we have. So for example, if you want to go with the preview, I can say cmd npm run preview like this. So all the commands, white is not recognized. Don't say that. White is already installed, right? Okay, anyway, like in the same way, for example, if you want to add your own commands also, you say, for example, I want to start the project in such a way that, okay, I say app start. Okay, colon, I'm going to say something called as white. Like this. Now, instead of npm start, now I can say app start also. You can add your own entries also. So what all the commands which has to run, that will be already configured in this. Okay, and at the same time, dependencies. What all the modules which all are dependent on the current project. At the same time, dev dependencies for development, what all the dependencies you wanted, those will be part of your dev dependencies. So any questions up to here in your package.json? Okay, what is the most preferable way to execute the project? What do you mean by that, Shivangi? What is the option I mentioned for you to execute the project? What is the way we have discussed? I don't think we have started with that. Amresh, why it contain private true in package.json? Could you please elaborate? This project, right, when you go into the Git, whether it is a public project or private project, that is what it is mentioned. If you make it as public, it will be searchable in your Git. And anyone who looks into this project, they can also make use of it because you have not mentioned any license. And if you make it as private as false. Nageshwar, npm run dev command, what do? It will be invoking your white. Now, if you see, whenever I say CLS, I say npm run dev. What is going to do? Whenever you say npm command, I will go to package.json file. I will see under the scripts. What do you mean by npm run dev? Okay, it is saying that white. Go to the white. Using white, you need to start it. What do you mean by white? I'm coming to this white config. Now it will be coming this default config. Along with this, it is going to invoke this React. Now it start compiling your complete React application, compiling also. It will check for any syntactical errors, etc. and all. It will check for that. It will start your live server and it is going to give you the port number finally. You see, when I'm saying npm run dev, it is doing the compilation. You see, white is the command which has got executed automatically, and white default configuration is going to come for you. And it is going to start your project. You see, these all things happen. And finally, it is saying that, okay, your server is ready to run this. This is a temporary live server being given by your white bundler. If it is earlier I was creating with some different bundler, right? React scripts. It was running in 3000 port number. So like this, every bundler is having its own port number. He is following into 5173. You can still go with different port number also. Okay, if you want to go with different port number, npm run dev hyphen port is equal to say something called as 8082. Now, once you click on this, it will be running in your so-and-so port number. If you don't specify any port number, it will be running into your 5173 port number. Okay. Any more questions? Hope I answered your question. I think Nageshwar and Swati both have the same question. It is not npm start, Swati. It is npm run dev. Sudhakar, is there any script named dev under node modules that runs when npm run? Any script which npm run dev under dev. When I say npm run dev, it starts executing the scripted files also. For example, under the script file, you are using one of the node modules like useState and all. So by the time this React node module should be there. So this all compilation also will be started. Because when I say npm run dev, it will start going with src, all the files, it start executing that guy. So if that happens, then that modules will be there, right? All the dev modules, whatever we have installed, that should be there for sure. Clear, Sudhakar?
Yeah, hi,
Why
sir.
preview is giving a different port number? Okay, that happened. I think npm run preview. Sorry, yeah, white preview. You see, this is what the preview it is doing. Okay.
Sir, exactly where we can see these comments in the document, sir? Actually, I don't see this comment npm run dev.
No, that is what I said, right? npm run. Later, everything is in your package.json. npm run dev, npm run build, npm run lint, npm run preview. These all are part of your package.json. If I don't give this guy, then preview doesn't work. If I don't give this guy, npm build doesn't work. If I don't give this guy, npm run dev doesn't work.
Okay.
Clear?
Yeah, okay.
Clear? Okay, so for your question, why preview is running in a different port number, that is how this, what do you say, white has been configured. Okay, we are not sure like why actually that has gone with 5173 as the actual port number, preview as a 4173. Not sure. That is how they have developed it. Okay. Package.json file is nothing but a configuration. It is not nothing. It is a lot of things. So it is actually the start of your project and heart of your project, you can say. Any of your, we are still not yet done with the class. Don't start your own discussions. Okay, package.js file is nothing. Okay, configuration, right? It's not only the configuration, everything what your project has to start with, those all things will be part of package.json. Everything, I mean, the start, the modules, dependencies, etc. stuff. Rohit, what is the work of package.json block? Okay, that's a good question. Shall I answer this in the tomorrow's class? Okay,
Sir,
I'll
I
come
have
for.
one question.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, previously we are using to start the application, we use npm run start, but now we are using npm run dev. So what is the difference between?
Actually, earlier, in order to start your project, that is a node project what we were starting. If you see, whenever I say npm, it is not like run. We simply say npm start. If you go here, there is a, oh, I deleted that guy. Oh yeah, web server. If you go to this web server, you go into this package file, and here I'm using a file called as just a start, npm start. But here it is, White is the one which is expecting that npm run dev, npm run build, it is expected by the bundler. That all depends upon the bundler who is helping us to how do we start it. But if it is a plain Node.js code, we only go with npm space start.
But in previous version of React, we used to use npm start.
That is what, right? But the bundler is React-scripts, right? They never use the White bundler.
Okay.
So earlier, whatever the project I created using this, I deleted that guy, right? Whatever the project I created using that React-scripts, okay, or else the project we ourselves has created, right? Using the React-scripts or using React-scripts. What I was doing something called as npm start only. The reason is the bundler React-scripts is not expecting that npm run so and so. For White bundler, it is expecting this. Clear, Pallavi? That change has come because of the bundler.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so in that case, we need to run our application like with the comments npm start or like npm dev or like sorry npm run a dev, so we can use any command to run our application. So
No, npm start doesn't help over here, right? Now if I say npm start, it is missing. Why so? Because White is expecting that npm run start or npm run dev. So it's the bundler who is defining me this.
okay, like only npm run dev only we need to use. Why? Because we have used the dev in the package.json.
No, we are using the White bundler.
White bundler, yeah.
Earlier, whatever we have created, cd dot cd, I think December 15th, right? So, December 11th. So you see cd existing web application. Now here I say npm start, here I'm using. I'm not saying npm run dev. Why so? The bundler what we are using is React scripts, not White. Clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, let's pause it for today, guys. We'll meet again back on tomorrow. Have a good day. Bye for today.